the Panama Canal. Even the name evokes a sense of awe, of a monumental undertaking achieved. Today we look at its history, construction, and the part it plays in world politics. We round up with an in-depth look at the current suggestion that it be turned over to the US, as mentioned by the incoming US president. What would this mean geopolitically to both Panama and the US, and the world? This 51-mile waterway, slicing through the heart of Panama, stands as a testament to human ambition and engineering genius. It is a modern marvel that has redefined global trade and travel, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans with a ribbon of shimmering water. The dream of a shortcut across the Americas is not a new one. As early as the 16th century, Spanish explorers, their eyes fixed on the riches of the New World, recognized the strategic importance of such a passage. For centuries, the dream of a canal remained just that, a dream. The dense jungles, rugged mountains, and treacherous swamps of Panama presented formidable obstacles. Vasco Núñez de Balboa, the first European to lay eyes on the Pacific Ocean from the Americas, envisioned a waterway that would link the two great oceans. Panama became a key transit route for Spanish treasure shipments from Peru to Spain. The Camino Real and Camino de Cruces were trails used to transport gold and silver across the isthmus. King Charles V of Spain considered creating a canal to connect the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans to streamline global trade. The Isthmus of Panama was identified as the narrowest point between the two oceans, making it a logical location for such an ambitious project. However, turning this dream into reality proved to be a monumental challenge. The wealth flowing through Panama attracted pirates, including Henry Morgan, who sacked Panama City in 1671. By the late 18th century, Panama's significance waned as Spain's power diminished and other trade routes emerged. Panama declared independence from Spain on November 28, 1821, and voluntarily joined Gran Colombia, a union of territories led by Simon Bolivar. After Gran Colombia dissolved in 1831, Panama became a province of the Republic of Colombia. This union was often uneasy, as Panamanians felt neglected and underrepresented in Colombian governance. The California gold rush increased Panama's importance as a transit route. The construction of the Panama Railroad, completed in 1855, provided a faster route for gold seekers traveling between the coasts. It wasn't until the 19th century, with the dawn of the Industrial Revolution and the explosive growth of global trade, that the idea of a Panama Canal began to gain serious momentum. The world was changing, and the need for a faster, more efficient way to move goods between the Atlantic and Pacific became increasingly urgent. The stage was set for one of the most ambitious engineering projects in human history. Although the Spanish had conducted initial surveys in the 16th century, they abandoned the project due to technological limitations and financial constraints. So the first bold attempt to conquer the Isthmus of Panama came from France. Ferdinand de Lesseps, the visionary engineer who had recently achieved international acclaim for completing the Suez Canal, set his sights on Panama. Confident in his abilities and buoyed by the success in Egypt, de Lesseps embarked on the Panama project in 1881. The French envisioned a sea-level canal, much like the Suez, cutting a straight path through the isthmus. However, they had grossly underestimated the challenges that awaited them. The terrain in Panama was far more rugged than that of Egypt. Towering mountains and dense jungle stood in their way. The tropical climate, with its relentless heat and torrential downpours, proved to be a formidable adversary, but it was the invisible enemy that proved to be the most devastating. Malaria and yellow fever, carried by mosquitoes, swept through the ranks of the workers. Thousands perished, their dreams swallowed by the jungle. The death toll was staggering, a grim testament to the deadly conditions. Financial mismanagement and escalating costs further compounded the problems. The project was hemorrhaging money. By 1889, after years of struggle and the loss of countless lives, the French effort collapsed in bankruptcy. The dream of a Panama Canal, once so bright, lay tarnished and seemingly out of reach. With the French retreat, the dream of a canal might have languished, another casualty of ambition and tropical hardship. However, the United States, newly emergent as a global power, recognized the immense strategic and economic value of a canal. With US support, Panama declared independence from Colombia on November 3, 1903. The US was motivated by its interest in building the Panama Canal. In 1904, under the leadership of President Theodore Roosevelt, a staunch advocate for American power, the United States purchased the rights to the canal project through the Hay-Bunau-Varilla Treaty with the new Panamanian government. The US paid $10 million for the acquisition of the Panama Canal zone. Roosevelt, a man not known for his patience, was determined to finish what the French had started. He understood that a canal would not only enhance American naval power, but also revolutionize global trade. He rallied the American people, declaring that the canal must be built. The Americans, learning from the French experience, adopted a different approach. John Frank Stevens, a brilliant engineer with a reputation for tackling difficult projects, was brought in to oversee the work. Stevens realized that a sea-level canal was impractical and instead proposed a system of locks, which would raise and lower ships to navigate the challenging terrain. Stevens's successor, Colonel George Washington Goethals, a no-nonsense military engineer, took over the reins and saw the project through to completion. Goethals was a brilliant organizer and leader who instilled a sense of purpose and camaraderie among the workforce. The Panama Canal stands as a monumental testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. The canal was built by a multinational workforce, including laborers from the Caribbean, primarily Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad, Europe, Italy, Spain, and Greece, Asia, India and China, and the Americas. It is a symbol of what humanity can achieve when we come together with determination and vision. That said, skilled positions were often reserved for white workers, while manual labor was predominantly done by black Caribbean workers. Many workers endured grueling conditions, low wages, and racial discrimination. Thousands died from accidents, disease, or exhaustion during construction. The construction of the canal also led to the displacement of thousands of Panamanians and the flooding of large areas to create Gatun Lake. The success of the American effort hinged on addressing the public health crisis that had devastated the French attempt. Dr. William C. Gorgas implemented groundbreaking sanitation measures, including draining swamps, fumigating areas, and providing medical care, which significantly reduced disease and saved thousands of lives. The public health measures used in Panama became a model for future public health campaigns in tropical regions. Environmentally, building the canal has affected the surrounding environment, including deforestation and changes to water ecosystems, though ongoing efforts aim to minimize ecological damage. Politically, while the canal was a monumental engineering achievement, US control of the canal zone became a source of resentment among Panamanians. As the 20th century progressed, the Panama Canal continued to be a vital artery of global trade. The world was changing rapidly, and so too was Panama. The canal played a vital role in military strategy during both World Wars, allowing the US Navy to quickly move between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Panama experienced frequent political upheaval, with numerous coups and changes in leadership throughout the 20th century. During the Cold War, the canal remained a strategic asset for the US, ensuring quick deployment of military forces across hemispheres. Modernization and expansion became the focus, ensuring that this engineering marvel could meet the demands of an ever-growing maritime industry. However, after the canal's completion, resentment grew in Panama over US control of the canal zone. Panamanians saw the zone as a symbol of colonialism and demanded sovereignty over their land. The US maintained a military presence in the canal zone and intervened in Panamanian politics, most notably during Operation Just Cause, 1989, which ousted dictator Manuel Noriega. The US invasion of Panama was primarily to secure canal operations during a period of political instability, further complicating US-Panama relations. The Torrijos-Carter Treaties of 1977 were signed by US President Jimmy Carter and Panamanian leader Omar Torrijos. The treaties set the stage for Panama to gain full control of the canal by 1999. On December 31, 1999, a historic transition took place. Control of the Panama Canal was handed over from the United States to the Republic of Panama. This marked a significant moment of national pride and sovereignty, and a new chapter in the canal's history, as the Panamanian people took pride in managing this crucial waterway, ensuring its continued success and relevance in the global economy. Since gaining control, the canal has been a cornerstone of Panama's economy, generating billions of dollars in revenue annually. The 2016 expansion of the canal increased its capacity, boosting Panama's role in global trade. At a cost of $5.25 billion, the expansion added larger locks to accommodate modern megaships, reinforcing the canal's importance in global trade. Panama has also diversified its economy, becoming a hub for international banking, shipping, and tourism. Despite economic growth, Panama still faces challenges like income inequality, corruption, and environmental degradation. Today, the Panama Canal remains one of the world's most significant engineering achievements. The Panama Canal's history reflects a complex interplay of engineering ambition, geopolitical strategy, and human sacrifice. It has been a symbol of progress and power, but also a reminder of the costs of such endeavors, including lives lost, sovereignty struggles, and environmental impact. Panama's history as a crossroads has made it a melting pot of cultures, with influences from indigenous peoples, Spaniards, Africans, Chinese laborers, and immigrants from around the world. For the US, the canal symbolized engineering prowess and global influence during the 20th century. For Panama, regaining control of the canal was a pivotal moment in its history, representing sovereignty and independence. The canal solidifies Panama's position as a critical link in global trade and a point of interest for major powers, including the US and China. As ships continue to pass through its locks, the canal stands as a reminder of what can be accomplished when nations come together to overcome challenges and create something truly extraordinary. The Panama Canal has long been a point of strategic and economic interest for the United States. Recently, there has been murmurings about whether the US should seek to retake control of this global shipping hub. But what would that mean for Americans? Let's start with the potential benefits. Retaking control of the Panama Canal could strengthen US national security by ensuring unrestricted access to this critical trade artery. With concerns about rising global tensions, having direct oversight could protect vital shipping routes and enhance military readiness. Economic benefits could include revenue generation from canal tolls, which currently bring in over $2 billion annually for Panama. Some of this money could potentially be redirected to American infrastructure or public services. Additionally, regaining control could counter growing Chinese influence in Panama and the region, reinforcing US dominance in the Western Hemisphere. But the costs and challenges of such an effort could outweigh the benefits. Retaking the canal would likely strain relations with Panama and other Latin American nations, damaging the US's reputation as a global partner. The financial cost of retaking and operating the canal, potentially involving military or economic coercion, could run into billions of dollars, diverting funds from domestic priorities like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Globally, this move could provoke condemnation and disrupt international trade, affecting not only American businesses, but also global commerce. And if military force were involved, the risks of conflict, loss of life, and regional instability would be significant, potentially escalating tensions with other powers, particularly China. So what does this mean for everyday Americans? While strategic control and potential economic gains might sound appealing, the reality is that most Americans would see little tangible benefit. Instead, they could face higher taxes, disrupted trade, and the fallout of strained international relations. In conclusion, while the idea of retaking the Panama Canal might resonate with notions of national strength and security, the financial, diplomatic, and geopolitical risks make it a highly controversial and potentially harmful endeavor. For the average American, the costs of such a move will far outweigh the benefits. The Panama Canal stands as a symbol of global achievement and is not a political gamble. Let's build bridges, not barriers.